Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. If you've ever thought about making money from your writing, working from home, and setting your own hours, then you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're diving deep into the world of freelance writing with a complete step-by-step beginner's guide. I remember when I was starting out, the whole idea felt incredibly overwhelming. There was so much information and I had no idea where to even begin. That's why I've put together this comprehensive roadmap to cut through the noise and give you a clear path to follow. We'll cover everything from the absolute fundamentals to the practical steps, tools, and tips you need to land your very first clients and start growing your income. We'll talk about building a portfolio from scratch, finding those initial jobs without spending any money, and setting up a professional workflow that makes you look like a pro, even when you're just starting. This isn't about vague theories. It's about actionable advice that you can implement today to get closer to your goal of becoming a paid writer. It's the system I wish I had when I was starting my own journey. The single most important piece of advice I can give you is this: start before you're ready. You don't need permission to be a writer. So many of us wait for the perfect moment, for some external validation, or until we feel like an expert. But the truth is, you become a writer by writing. You gain confidence by doing the work. So grab a notebook, open up a new document, and let's get started on building your freelance writing career, step by step. All right, so before we get into finding clients and making money, we need to lay a solid foundation. Let's talk about the essentials. At its core, freelance writing boils down to a few key skills. First, and most obviously, is writing itself. This means being able to write clearly, concisely, and in a way that connects with a specific audience. Alongside this is research. You won't be an expert in everything you write about, so knowing how to find credible sources, synthesize information, and present it accurately is absolutely crucial. And of course, grammar and spelling. Even the most brilliant ideas fall flat if the text is riddled with errors. It's about professionalism and attention to detail. Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, is self-discipline. When you're your own boss, no one is there to tell you to start working. You have to create your own structure and hold yourself accountable. Now, let's talk about the gear. The good news is you don't need a fancy setup or expensive software to get started. Honestly, all you truly need is a laptop and an internet connection. But there are a few free tools that I highly recommend that will immediately level up your game and make your life so much easier. First up is Grammarly. The free version is fantastic for catching those pesky typos and grammatical mistakes that we all make. It's like having a second pair of eyes on your work. Next, Canva. You'll need a portfolio, and Canva has amazing free templates that let you create a professional-looking PDF portfolio in minutes, even with zero design skills. It's perfect for showcasing your writing samples. Finally, for organization, I swear by Trello. It's a visual project management tool that helps you keep track of your ideas, your pitches, your ongoing projects, and your deadlines. You can create different boards for different clients or stages of your workflow. Using these three tools, Grammarly for polishing your writing, Canva for presenting it, and Trello for managing it all, gives you a surprisingly powerful and professional setup without costing you a single penny. It's about building a system from day one that supports your growth and makes you look like you've been doing this for years. So get those set up, and you'll be ready for the next step. Okay, with our foundational tools in place, let's get into the actionable part. Here are the first 5 concrete steps you need to take. Step 1 is to pick a niche. I know, this can feel paralyzing. People say the riches are in the niches, and it's true, but don't overthink it at the start. A niche is just a specific topic or industry you'll write about. Think about your hobbies, your past work experience, or subjects you're genuinely curious about. Are you into fitness, personal finance, video games, sustainable living? Start there. Choosing a niche helps you target specific clients and build expertise faster. For now, just pick one you're interested in. You can always change it later. Step 2 is to create 3 writing samples in that niche. Clients need to see that you can actually write. These don't have to be published anywhere. Just open a Google Doc and write 3 500 to 800 word articles on topics within your chosen niche. For example, if your niche is vegan cooking, you could write 5 easy vegan breakfast ideas, a beginner's guide to tofu, and the best dairy-free milk alternatives. Focus on making them high-quality, well-researched, and error-free. These samples are your ticket to getting hired, so put your best foot forward. They are your proof of skill. Step 3. Build a simple portfolio. Take those 3 writing samples and put them into a professional-looking document using one of those free Canva templates we just talked about. Add a short bio about yourself and your contact information. Save it as a PDF. That's it. You now have a portfolio you can attach to your emails and applications. Step 4 is to set your beginner rates. This is another area where people get stuck. A good starting point is between 5 and 10 cents per word. So for a 1,000-word article, you'd charge between $50 and $100. It might not sound like a lot, but it gets your foot in the door. And finally, step 5, set up your accounts. Create a dedicated PayPal or Wise account to receive payments professionally, and sign up for a few platforms like Upwork or LinkedIn. Taking these 5 steps moves you from aspiring writer to writer ready for business. This is the part we've all been waiting for, finding people who will actually pay you to write. The great news is there are plenty of free ways to find your first clients. The most direct method, and one that I really like, is cold pitching. This means reaching out directly to companies or brands in your niche that you'd like to write for. Go to their website, find their blog, and see what kind of content they publish. Then, find the contact information for their marketing manager or content editor. You can often find this on their About Us page or on LinkedIn. A little bit of detective work here goes a long way. Your cold pitch email needs to be short, personalized, and value-focused. Here's a simple template. Start with a personalized subject line like content idea for company name's blog. In the body, introduce yourself briefly, mention something specific you like about their existing content, and then pitch them 2 or 3 specific article ideas that would be a great fit for their audience. Keep it focused on them, not you. End the email by saying you've attached your portfolio for their review and include a clear call to action, like, are you the right person to discuss this with? This proactive approach shows initiative and can land you some really great high-quality clients right from the start. If cold pitching feels a bit daunting, another excellent free resource is job boards, but not the massive ones you might be thinking of. I've had great luck with niche communities. Check out Reddit, specifically subreddits like r/Hire-a-Writer. You'll find legitimate job postings there daily. Facebook groups dedicated to freelance writing or specific industries are also gold mines. Search for groups like Freelance Writers Network or B2B Tech Marketers. Finally, you have content mills like Upwork and Fiverr. While they can be very competitive and the pay might be lower initially, they are fantastic for getting your first few paid projects under your belt, building confidence, and getting those crucial first testimonials for your portfolio. Think of them as a training ground. Once you land that first yes from a client, the immediate feeling is excitement, followed very quickly by, oh, what do I do now? This is where having a professional workflow comes in. It not only makes you look more experienced and trustworthy to your client, but it also protects you and makes your life infinitely less stressful. The very first thing you need before you write a single word is a contract. Now, you don't need to hire a lawyer. There are tons of free contract templates available online specifically for freelancers. A quick search for freelance writing contract template will give you plenty of options. A good contract outlines the scope of work, the deadlines, the payment terms, and who owns the final content. It manages expectations for both you and the client and prevents future misunderstandings. Next up is invoicing. How do you actually ask for the money you've earned in a professional way? Again, you don't need complicated accounting software. I highly recommend a free tool called Wave Apps. It allows you to create and send professional-looking invoices with just a few clicks. You can add your logo, list the services you provided, and it even lets clients pay you directly via credit card or bank transfer. It tracks which invoices are paid and which are overdue, so you always know where you stand financially. Sending a proper invoice instead of just a PayPal request makes you look like a legitimate business, which builds client trust and encourages prompt payment. Finally, let's talk about managing your time. When you have a project with a deadline, it's easy to procrastinate. My favorite technique for overcoming this is the Pomodoro technique. It's incredibly simple. You set a timer for 25 minutes and work with intense focus on a single task during that time. No checking your phone, no social media, just pure work. When the timer goes off, you take a 5-minute break. After 4 of these Pomodoros, you take a longer break of 15 to 30 minutes. This method breaks down a daunting task, like writing a 2,000-word article, into manageable, bite-sized chunks. It helps maintain focus and prevents burnout. A simple workflow of contract, then work using Pomodoro, then invoice using Wave. This is a powerful system for any new freelancer. Now, for a really important topic, protecting yourself. The vast majority of clients are wonderful professional people. However, like in any industry, there are a few bad apples out there, and as a beginner, you can be an easy target. Knowing the common red flags will help you spot potential scams from a mile away and save you a lot of time and frustration. The first and most common red flag is a request for a free custom sample. You already have a portfolio with your best work. That is your sample. If a potential client insists you write a new custom article for free as part of their application process, it's often a tactic to get free content. Politely decline and refer them back to your portfolio. A legitimate client will respect that. Another major red flag is anything related to payments that seems off. This includes clients who are vague about payment terms, who promise to pay you once their own client pays them, or who offer payment in the form of exposure or a share of future profits. Your time and skill are valuable, and you should be paid in actual money, on time. Always agree on the rate and the payment schedule before you start working and get it in your contract. Delayed payments are also a warning sign. If a client is consistently late with payments without a good reason, it might be time to finish up your work with them and move on. Finally, be wary of vague job descriptions and unprofessional communication. If a client can't clearly articulate what they want, what the scope of the project is, or who the target audience is, it's a recipe for disaster. You'll likely end up in an endless cycle of revisions and frustration. Similarly, if their communication is consistently unprofessional, with poor grammar, all-caps emails, or an overly casual or demanding tone right from the start, trust your gut. Professional clients communicate professionally. It's always better to politely pass on a project that feels wrong than to get stuck in a bad situation that drains your energy and makes you question your decision to become a writer in the first place. Okay, so you've landed a few clients, you've been paid, and you're starting to get the hang of this. Fantastic! Now let's talk about growth. Freelance writing isn't just about finding one-off gigs, it's about building a sustainable business. The first and most impactful growth strategy is to raise your rates. After you have successfully completed projects with 3 to 5 clients and have some positive testimonials, it's time for a price increase. You have more experience, a stronger portfolio, and social proof. For all new clients, you should quote a higher rate. Maybe you started at 7 cents per word. Now it's time to start quoting 10 or 12 cents per word. It can feel scary, but you'll often find that higher rates attract higher quality clients who value your work more. Another key strategy is to focus on repeat business. Finding a new client is much harder than keeping an existing one happy. If you've had a great experience working with someone, make it easy for them to hire you again. After you complete a project successfully, you can send a follow-up email saying how much you enjoyed working with them and that you're available for future projects. You could even offer a small discount, like 10% off their next article, as a thank you for their continued business. Building a small roster of 3 to 4 regular, reliable clients who send you consistent work is the key to stable income and less time spent on marketing yourself. Finally, it's time to start using LinkedIn strategically. It's not just an online resume. It's a powerful client attraction machine. Optimize your profile headline to say you're a freelance writer for your niche brands. Start connecting with content managers, marketing directors, and founders of companies in your niche. You don't need to pitch them immediately. Just start sharing valuable content. Post about writing tips, comment thoughtfully on their posts, and share interesting articles related to your niche. By positioning yourself as an expert and being visible, you'll have potential clients reaching out to you instead of you always having to chase them. This is the long-term play that shifts you from a gig worker to a sought-after professional. So there you have it, a complete roadmap to get you from zero to your first paid freelance writing gig. We've covered the foundations, the tools, how to find clients, and how to grow. But knowing all of this is useless without action. Information alone doesn't build a career. Doing the work does. So I want to challenge you to take 3 small steps today, right after you finish this video. First, open a document and write a 300-word sample on a topic you enjoy. It doesn't have to be perfect, just get it done. Next, find and join one freelance writing Facebook group. Just lurk for a bit, see what people are talking about, and get a feel for the community. And third, find one company in your niche and draft a cold email. You don't even have to send it yet. Just go through the process of finding their blog, coming up with ideas, and writing the pitch. Taking these small, tangible actions will create momentum and make this whole thing feel so much more real and achievable. It's about breaking the inertia. Remember this, your first 10 pieces will feel hard. You'll second-guess every word. But by the time you write your 30th piece, you'll have a system. You'll be faster, more confident, and it will start to feel like a real job. In terms of earnings, it's realistic to aim for your first $100 within a month, and your first $1,000 within 3 to 6 months if you're consistent. If you have any more questions about picking a niche, building a portfolio, or negotiating rates, please drop them in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer every single one. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.